Okay, so hi everyone. Today on our podcast Beyond Epiphany, we have Chee Rong, who is an engineer turned into a financial advisor, and now he is managing his own team. So let's deep dive into a little bit, understanding how he got into this career and also what are the challenges that he has faced throughout the last decade. So Chee Rong, can you tell us a little bit what makes you want to transition your career from an engineer to a financial industry, specifically life insurance?
Okay, first of all, thank you, Alan, and the whole Epiphany team for having me here today. So yes, to your question, how did I transition? Actually, I don't know. It's a long story. Back in, because I've been in this field, right, for more than 13 years already. How it all started was, I think, back in 2012, 13 years ago, I first discovered my dislike for offshore work.
So your engineer work was actually in offshore?
Correct. So I was a field engineer. So my job scope back then was primarily based offshore. And at that time, even though no matter how the country, how the world perceives as the engineering profession is, right, I really, really hated it. Never there was a time where I looked forward going offshore. So I stuck on to that job for a while, for a year and a half, and then I finally decided I had enough. Well, back then I haven't even discovered in the financial industry yet. It was just that desire to leave the oil and gas and offshore world that got me to quit. And then soon after that, I chanced upon a colleague who was in the field and who told me about it, and I got interested. And so I took a deeper dive, and I found myself 10 years later. Long story short, I'm here.
So how was the transition? Was it an easy one, or did you quit immediately and just join the life insurance industry?
Yes. So my story was I quit without having a backup plan. Still young and naive, but back then I quit. All I wanted to do was like what most young people would do nowadays as well. I think go for a soul-searching trip. So that's what I did. Have a bit of money saved up. I quit. I went travel for a bit with my friends, hoping some inspiration would come up. And then, and long story short, I joined the industry after I chanced upon a friend who got me into the career.
Okay. What was the first few challenges that you faced the moment you changed into a life insurance industry? Because you don't have any prior experience or knowledge to that, right? Yeah. So what was the first few challenges?
I don't know how to put it, but I thought it wasn't that difficult. I mean, the product itself. I mean, in Brunei, when you talk about the life insurance industry, right? The product itself, the knowledge and the area of expertise itself it's not that challenging, to be honest, because I thought they were quite straightforward. They was quite easy, and that's how I got so deep into it. If you want to talk about challenges, right, I would say the beginning was to overcome that stigma. I mean, even coming from my whole family, where my whole family entirely works in the oil and gas industry, right? So, yeah, the stigma of this transition from having an engineering background to selling insurance. Basically, that's what people say. You want to sell insurance? You got engineering degree? Why are you doing selling insurance? So I think the whole stigma and trying to feel accepted in a way was the biggest challenge. So it's all within me.
Accepted by who? Accepted by your family or by your colleagues or by...
Everybody. Basically everybody. I think because the expectation of not just my family, I think my friends and everyone else, right, was that I get a good, stable engineering job, oil and gas. That was something that, people would feel proud of. And my peers would ask me, aren't you happy you can get a good engineering job and all that? Why take the risk? Why? At that time, I didn't even know the answer myself. I only knew that if I wasn't happy doing what I was doing, should I waste enough time? Should I still continue to waste time doing something that I didn't like?
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you were rather decisive. So you don't need to know why you want to join the industry, but you know that you need to get out of what you don't like.
Correct. So like I said earlier, right, what I discovered was what I did not like.
Okay,
yeah,
good. I think that's a very important thing because a lot of us sometimes we are stuck in a career crossroad where we don't like what we are doing, but instead of getting out from it, right, we're always looking at what can we do next, which actually put us in a situations where we get stuck doing what we don't like for an extended period amount of time? You're rather decisive on that.
I think if you were to compare, right, I've seen a lot of Gen Z nowadays, right? I think it's quite similar. Something that, you don't see the point, you don't see the purpose or meaning behind it, you give up very, very soon after. And that was me. 10, 12, 13 years ago.
So you were Gen Z before the Gen Z lah.
I started the trend.
You started the trend. Okay, now you know
Quit
the trend
first.
center.
If you don't like something, you just quit first. Not something I was very proud of.
Okay, now getting in here, how long did you stay as an insurance agent before you get promoted to become a manager?
I think it was 4 years. 4 years so I transitioned from being a part-time agent to a full-time. And when I was in less than 1 year of being full-time, I had the opportunity to run my own agency, and which I took up.
You mentioned about like part-time agent, but you quit your job already. So why was it a part-time?
Okay, so this is another story, right? I quit my job, but because there was a lot of stigma going on, how I was 23 years old. I just got a very expensive engineering degree from Australia, which my family funded, especially my brother. So the reality was that as much as I wanted to just focus on insurance and focus on this field, right? The worry that I get from my parents and my family, the looks on their face, right? They're looking so worried all the time. If I've made like the worst decision in life, I just couldn't bear with it. So at that time, I thought like, you know what? I'll do even though I've already started selling insurance, I told myself, you know what? I could still get an engineering job. But that as long as it didn't have to go offshore, I would be okay, because that means that I will have time on the land to go out and do my appointments. So that was it for me, just so that I could provide my parents, my family, that peace of mind.
So was it with the same engineering company, or you actually went to a different company?
It was a different one.
Okay.
Yep.
So you were 1.5 years with the first company, you quit, and then you joined the life insurance industry, while at the same time became an engineer at a different company.
Correct.
At the time.
Yes.
All right. So you were rather quick. In 1 year plus, you already decided that you're going to move up to become an agency manager. Was there a different set of challenges being an agency manager compared to an insurance agent?
I would say the transition, the journey itself, managing people, having that responsibility of guiding, mentoring, coaching people would be, it itself is a very, very tough journey. I could still recall the first 3 years were the hardest.
Okay.
At the point where I really wanted to just give up and just go back to just doing my own sales.
I think that's a very fair point, and thank you for being very transparent, because I think what a lot of people fail to recognize is we're not good at everything. There's something that we need to find time to build onto. And if we are not careful, there are times where we also set different standards between ourselves and people. But I like how you put it back onto yourself, which is, I fail to make them see that there's an opportunity or there's a possibility that they can build a better career here. There's a lot of accountabilities as well on your end. I think that what makes you a good leader later on as well. So what were the other challenges that you face?
Of course, I think running a team, building an agency, a little business for yourself, right, would always require you to have to upkeep with the expenses. So that time, even though I was doing okay for myself, a lot of things that would still require me to invest, if you could call it, invest into the office, invest into creating functions for the team. Even though I was doing okay for myself, I was not comfortable with, because I wasn't sure if there would be any return coming out of this investment. So a lot of this, while I still undertook a lot of those investments and all this put into the agency, right, I did it with a lot of uncertainty. And this has created at times some anxiety. If I was making the right decisions, would I then be becoming a unwise financial professional, making all the wrong financial decisions then for myself? So a lot of this, part of it.
I think it's true. A lot of people talk about building their own business, and there's a difference between an expense and investing further into a business. And we always look into what can we get out of it in terms of ROI as well. Now, before we deep dive into that, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll jump right back into this.
Guys, seriously, it's been few weeks since I last asked for your help to subscribe, like to the show. You still haven't done it? Now, this is the best time to do it. Once you click subscribe and hit the like button, we will get back onto the show.
Okay, so welcome back. Before the break, we talked about the difference between a business expense and also as an investment for further ROI. So Chee Rong, when you move into taking care of your own agency, how do you differentiate whether this expense is really an expense or it could be considered as an investment into your business?
I think that's a real question, Alan, that I do not have the answers to. Because if you knew clearly, if you could decide which one is an expense and which one would be an investment that you can expect returns from, you wouldn't mind putting a lot of money in investments, right? So like I said, the challenges was that a lot of time you would regard things as expense rather than investment. In actual fact, you would not know whether it would be an investment until you give it enough time. And so a lot of the money spent, a lot of the expenses that you upkeep as an agency manager, right? You really have to, a part of it for me, especially, a big part of it would be based on the faith that the people that you invest in will see it through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does it mean, is that the reason why it is not easy to make that decision to shift into agency manager, because you know that is the commitment that you need to put into? Whereas if you don't become an agency manager, those are extra money for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you were to ask a lot of people who would be comfortable coming out with that 30, 40, 50,000 a year with nothing that is guaranteed, without expecting something that, okay, you can get how many percent by the end of the first year. This is what you cannot expect. And I think that's what puts a lot of people off. I also don't know how I got into, how I decided to become an agency manager. But of course, I think at the time I didn't expect. A lot of things was trial and error. And I was, luckily, I was foolish enough to embark on this journey, which I have, I'm so grateful that I have. Yeah.
When you say foolish, right, it reminds me how foolish can be a good thing. Because in Steve Jobs' speech in Stanford, right, he says, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." That's how people can get into a career where they stay curious enough to try and make it possible. So, if you talk about putting in the money in, how long did it take for you to see a return on the investment, or you deem that as a return on investment?
I guess took me about 3 years. I will still remember the darkest moment was in my second year running the agency, where all I could see was deficit. I was so worried that it may not be sufficient to last my secretary's pay for the rest of the year. And that was my lowest point. And that's when I questioned myself, was all this really worth it? And that's where I decided to give it, one last shot. And I think at that point in time, I think the biggest change was a shift in mindset. Where I shifted from becoming so worrying and also worryful and every day so nervous and anxious about the business income and revenue and production. My mindset just shifted from, you know what? If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I give myself until end of the year. I remember very clearly because I just felt like the weight lifted off my shoulder, and that shift in mindset itself, I don't know how everything started to fall in place together. So lucky for me. So where I could go back to doing what I like doing what I enjoy. I have more joy coming to the office, having no expectation.
What helped with that mindset shift? Was it any books, any podcasts? How did that epiphany happen?
I don't know, Alan. How did that happen? I guess it was just a self-realization that, at one point where I was so depressed, so helpless, that I did a self-reflection on how I got into the industry in the first place. So I remember how I got into the industry was that I really enjoy what I was doing. I still enjoy what I'm doing. Insurance, helping people with financial planning, budgeting and all that. And I had so much joy. And I remember that was deep sense of purpose that got me to switch from engineering to this field. Feeling of fulfillment got me to have this shift in mindset. So rather than focusing on profitability or loss, I had this focus back to my purpose.
It's good to hear from you, because from what we heard right from the get-go of this podcast was that you're a very determined person. You exactly know what you have. And usually we assume that people who are very determined and motivated would know the way out. And hearing that you also have your own fair share of struggle allows us to understand that we're all human beings, and even the toughest warrior will also have times that they need to self-reflect and find a way out. At what point it improved that you felt like, okay, I can get to an even higher level?
I can't really pinpoint the date or the time when, but I can tell you that that turning point happened when I realized that I was no longer alone, and that I in fact have a few people who share the same goal and visions. And that gave me so much empowerment to continue to not only do better, but to go further with the team. It felt like an obligation. Like they've entrusted the time and the future in me, and I cannot let them down. So that, yeah.
What has been the biggest lesson that you've learned in terms of leading a team?
I think if you would ask me, put it this way, if you ask me what I do now differently than back when I first started, right? I was very much a people pleaser. So I had a small team, and I think the mistake or the downfall of it all was that I tried to make everybody happy. So I tried to please them but at the end of the day, you realize that if you please them without having the same alignment in terms of goals and visions, right, you go nowhere. And that's when you waste a lot of time.
Was there an incident that you can share with us where before you had that realizations, you would definitely say, okay, whatever it is, and right after you have that shift, the same thing happened and you went like, nope, this is what I believe in?
I wouldn't say, I don't have one specific incident, but I do have accumulation of a lot of cases which has led me to this statement, right? So a lot of times where agents or advisors they try to go with a certain approach to their insurance advising, to their clients, to their prospects, right? Which I may not necessarily agree, but I thought, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, if is what can help them get started, even though it may not be the right approach, I would still forgo it. I would still allow it. But at the end of the day, over time, you realize that approach is indeed not the right one, and it will backfire. And I've seen enough cases of this to be firm and to tell myself, you know what, this has got to stop. That's where it got me thinking, if I continue to forgo all of this, nothing's going to change, and I wouldn't become the leader, or I wouldn't be able to impact the people, my clients, my friends and families, the way I thought I could when I first started.
Does this have anything to do with the purpose of you actually joining this insurance industry?
Yes, definitely. I think one of the reasons, if you ask me, one of the reasons why I joined the industry was that I do believe in insurance. I mean, insurance is a very good product, right? Why I can advocate for this because Alan, you're familiar with insurance itself. Tell me, give me a scenario whereby you feel that one person will not benefit from insurance. Because it is true. I stand firmly, I stand by what I said, because I believe every individual, no matter what stage in life you are in, you or your family can benefit from insurance. Of course, no, this is a very broad term because we have different types of lines of products in insurance, right? But I'm convinced that without a doubt, every individual, no matter what stage of life they are in, they can benefit from insurance.
It's the fundamentals of it, right? Which is on risk management itself, like protection. Protection is what you believe in.
Protection is the core of our business, right? I mean, that's what makes insurance is. I mean, you cannot run away from it. Having insurance is critical for income protection for your family, for dependents at home.
Okay.
But of course, we all know that that may not be what people understand or view it as, and that's why we would also have a suite of other products that can cater and accommodate to their different goals and purpose.
Okay. Now, knowing what you have right now and your team have expanded, is there any more concerns that you might have moving forward, or you're already at a stage where there's no more problem, there's no more challenges. I think I can handle everything.
Wow. Don't say like that, Alan. You make sound like I should expect some more challenges and problem, which, I'm not getting any younger also.
I'm not saying problem or challenges. I think some of us are an optimist, right? We look
Yeah.
at things and say everything's gonna be fine. And there are people who are very pessimistic, like everything's gonna, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. What kind of leader or what kind of entrepreneur do you think you are?
Well, I'm definitely more on the optimistic side because I feel that I believe that there's no point dwelling in negative side of things.
When I tell people that I'm very optimistic, some people will say, wait, what is the foundation of your optimism? It's like, where do you draw this from? Where do you think yours comes from? What's the source of your optimism?
The fact that I am still sitting here, I'm still alive, I'm still breathing, and I'm still living a healthy life. And I think despite all of that, it all comes down to what you believe, right?
So for someone who wants to improve on their mindset when they venture into business, what advice would you give to them so that it can help them to kind of like shift?
What I would say is that, if you want to find that positive mindset, that drive, that source of power within you to take up any challenge, right, in life, I think you have to ask yourself why you started. I think that's very, very important. If you understand why you're doing something and you have all the good reasons behind it, regardless of the challenges, you may even know of the challenges already. I think you will still have it enough. You still find it within you to pull through.
So the purpose is very important.
Yes. Without purpose, I think, it's really hard to stay long to anything, right? It's really hard to have that commitment without purpose.
It seems like you figured out everything. So looking at your team right now, what do you think is needed for your team to move to the next level?
So I was just having this conversation with one of my good friend the other day. He said, right, the problem in Brunei with people, right, is that it's not that they are not capable. It's that it's so easy to feel like a big fish in a small pond in Brunei. So a lot of people, they tend to be so complacent very easily. They feel that, I'm doing okay. I'm doing better, slightly better than my peers. And that's where their hunger dies. That's where they lose their hunger for more, for better. But that doesn't mean that you cannot achieve more, right? I mean, don't you owe it to yourself to find out how much more you can achieve? And I think if more people would just have the same belief, right? I think together we'll be able to achieve more and really, really find out where the limits.
Good that you talk about like limits, pushing the boundaries and all those. We'll take a quick break because right after we're coming from the break, I want to talk a little bit more about on the other side of the mindset or the other side of the spectrum.
And what would that be?
We'll find out later.
Hey, before you go out for a break, I have a very important notice. Yeah, that was not a stop motion. It was waiting to capture your attention. Yes, if you like what we're doing, remember to hit the subscribe button. It will really, really help us to push for more productions, trying to get the guests that we wanted, and share more story. Now, back to the show.
Okay, welcome back. So, Chee Rong, you mentioned about purpose-driven. You talk about owe it to yourself. You talk about like pushing the limit. Is it wrong to wanting to have an easier life and not push?
I mean, it's never wrong. It's not that I'm not against people who don't want to achieve more. I just feel that until you know your full potential, I feel that your potential is a waste because you may be content right now, but something that hit me really hard was if I'm on my deathbed one day and I were to look back and to only realize that I have not given my all, the answer is very obvious that I wouldn't be okay with it. And I thought since I wouldn't be okay with it, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of people out there who would feel the same way. So it's not that I'm against those people who are just happy with what they have. It's just that just in case that what they want right now, that they may feel happy right now, may not be truly what they want. Just in case that's the case, then I want to be there to help them extract that potential.
would you say that you have already shifted from an insurance agent? You have even shifted beyond a manager right now. You're actually looking at coaching others or mentoring others.
I thought that's what I've been doing from the beginning. You see, you always laugh, Alan, because you never take me seriously.
I take it very seriously, man. I take it very seriously.
You always laugh, as you come office sometimes. I mean, when it comes to building and grooming new people, right? And I think I think all that I can do is to share. Sharing, apart from the knowledge, apart from the sales techniques and all that, I think a big part of it is to that they would benefit is to share my experience, right? A lot of times they would think, I don't know if my agents would feel the same. They would think that I may be an old man trying to say all these things that they cannot even resonate with. So I don't even know if that's the case sometimes. But you know what? I felt that these are the life experience and that I've had, and yeah, it has definitely helped me in my journey in the career, and I thought it'd be good to share. So yeah, from time to time I try to impart all this to the new agents.
Okay, if you guys are wondering why am I laughing, and then he's asking me like, why don't you come to the office? It's because he's my manager. Okay. In the financial industry, as a life insurance agent, he's my manager. So I respect him one. I go to the office one. I still go into the office.
Yes. So yeah, I think a lot of things if you can help them, I don't even know how much of an impact my sharing of my experience will be to my agents. But who knows? Just in case it can help, light the way for some of my agents, I think it would be worth sharing.
Knowing what you know right now, if you could go back to let's say 12, 13 years ago and speak to a younger Chee Rong, what would be that one golden piece of advice that you give to him?
If I could turn back time, what would I have done differently? And Alan, I don't have an answer to that, because look back, no matter all the hardships that I've been through and all that, right, I think that those are important lessons that shape who I am today and how I approach things. And I felt that those hardships, those challenges, they were important. They were crucial to me, instilling that belief in me, that principles, that values that I uphold proudly today. If there's any advice I would give to my younger self, I would say, just go out there and try it all. Try it all. Don't be afraid of not starting. And don't be afraid of starting. In fact, whatever you have in mind, don't worry. Go do it, because at the end of the day, if the intention is right, the purpose is there, whether you fail or succeed, it'll be okay, at least to yourself.
What would be your... I know you as someone who likes to share some wise words and quotes and all this, right? Give me your favorite quote, like that you live by very closely.
Favorite quotes? I have so many, I don't even know.
The one that, if anything, you bring it up and you're like, this is the best quote.
Okay. I think this one. I think I've shared with you. I would always tell my agents, go do it. Go do it with faith. But what is the difference between having faith and having fear? Do you remember, Alan?
Of course I remember. You look at my face, confirm I remember one.
So I think, this is what I shared. I think everything still makes sense to me. When we say to do things and have faith in doing what you do, right, it's not just doing anything blindly. Having faith means believing in the positive. And having fear means believing in the negative. And whatever you do in life, whatever you do, as long as you do it with faith, regardless of the outcome, you'll be okay.
Let's say moving forward to the next 5 years, do you still see yourself in the capacity of a manager? Or do you see yourself moving into a different field, let's say being a motivational speaker?
Have I been a manager? I always thought I'm very buddy-buddy with my team. Do you guys see me as a manager?
I don't know how to answer this question, guys. Like, this is the part where you need to cut me off.
I thought we are all buddy-buddy. We all makan together and all that. But I don't see myself as a manager. Of course, I still enjoy building the business, building people, and growing the business with my people. So, yeah, any deviation from this? No, I have none. Yeah.
It seems like you're very taken aback when people call you a manager, or why? What's your stigma about manager?
I don't know the stigma lah. It's just that Maybe it's just to me that manager is always KPI focused, right? You mean that you're responsible?
Aren't you KPI focused?
But I want, or maybe I'm still, I haven't found my way yet. I think what I'd like to be more of in the future, if I'm not already, I always thought I'm already, is to not be so much KPI focused, but rather than in, personal growth focused. Because I believe once you take care of all of this, the results will come. So, but of course it's hard, I have people, I have bosses, I have managers also to answer. So every now and then I have to check on a little bit. Hey, how's the KPI? But that doesn't mean that that's never my main focus, because I always believe that as long as you build the person right in the mindset and with the right work ethics, the results will come.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I think he's telling the truth, because that's how I feel. Hey, what are the chances that you get to see people interviewing their manager?
It's crazy, right? You see?
There must be a certain level of trust or certain level of comfort that I feel like I'm okay. He would be okay for me to interview. Otherwise, I would be like, I want to stay away.
You would think that he's my manager. No. Asking me all the questions. Like I'm answering, having to report my status to him.
So if you're looking for an environment where you can grow, you're looking for a place where you can challenge yourself a little bit and try to see what you can do outside of your capabilities, speak to Chee Rong. I think he's the right person to kind of build that into it. There's a lot of things that I've learned from Chee Rong over the years, especially how to have that positive outlook, especially when times are tough. And this kind of mentality is not something that can be easily forged. It requires a lot of patience. I think that's where you're really good in terms of sharing your personal experience. I always believe in one thing, which is having the right balance in life of passion, money, and time. If you can do what you like, you can make the money that you want, and you can have time to do whatever that you want. So in between passion, money, and time, and you have to give up one because you can't have it all, which one would you sacrifice?
Oh, I wouldn't. Why do I need to sacrifice? Why should there always be a sacrifice? Because I feel that if you're really passionate about something and you spend time doing something that you're passionate about, that is not time wasted, right? Alan, don't you agree? If you spend time doing something that you're passionate about, that you know it will lead to a meaningful, a purposeful outcome, would you be wasting your time? And in fact, you will be having time to do what you're passionate about. I think that is a very fortunate thing. And if you can do that and at the same time make money from it, you're the luckiest person alive already. How many people can have that? Don't you agree?
This is like the reason why we're also nodding is also because this is the second time that we hear similar answers on this as well. So, which is good.
Who's the first one? Ask him join me. I want to talk to that person.
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised.
Really?
If we bring back to the days, your darker days, right, when you were running an agency, you say that you love doing what you're doing, but so there's passion. Obviously, there's some passion in it, but money was not enough. Money was not enough, and you don't have time because you get stuck in the office doing all these administrative things. In order to turn things around, right, something must give in first. In this case, passion, money, and time. Which one would you sacrifice?
Obviously, the answer was time, because I had to work hard so that I could then afford to upkeep my office. And given enough time, given enough value that I've put into my agents, my advisors' lives, then only I could see result. Then only I should expect result. If I have not even done that, I've not even put in my time, energy, and money into, have not value add into their lives, can I expect? Is it even reasonable for me to expect something in return? No, I wouldn't, and I wouldn't do so.
Okay, we have a tradition here of getting our guests to ask a question to the next guest without knowing who that would be. So I want you to think about a question that if you can ask anything, not knowing who they are, what question would you like to ask? Except, have you bought insurance already?
That's the only thing I want to know. I don't know. I'm so brain fried already. What was the question that
later we'll let you know.
Okay, I got the question. Question is, what is more important? Your dreams, aspirations, or your social validation from your peers?
So, of course, then our previous guest has left a question for you. And before, okay, to be fair, I'll give you the question first and then we'll hit into the break. And then when we come back from the break, then we'll be able to answer the questions.
Hit me.
So the question is, what would your perfect day be like? Right, and we will head into our break right now. And right after that, we'll come back to get Chee Rong for his answer.
Guys, Alan is taking a break right now because no one is subscribing and he's just hiding at a corner, weeping his tears and crying. So come, let's help cheer him up. Hit the subscribe button, give some comments, like and share. All right, I'm gonna ask him to come back to the show. See you.
So how would your perfect day be like?
The perfect day for me would be to wake up with a feeling of strong purpose. And I could have a nice coffee to start the day. Then I would head off to do what I believe in the most, which is, at the moment, building my team, my agency. To know that what I do will lead to a much better, to a good outcome that will, in one way or another, no matter how big or small, have positive impact to the lives of my team and the family members and those people that they work with. Having that purpose, waking up with a mission, with a purpose, is definitely very, very important to me.
Additional bonus question.
Oi.
Bonus question. How would you like to be remembered? Because into life insurance, right, we always talk about what if yesterday were to be your last day? Have you prepared enough for your families and all this, right? So on this note, if yesterday were to be the last day for you, how would you want to be remembered by people who have known you?
Okay. If by my family, I would want to be remembered as someone who is very responsible, very someone who has the foresight to think long term, to plan ahead for them, to be the best father, the best husband that I could possibly be. And that also, of course, coming from the perspective of doing proper planning when I'm no longer around. So that's for what I want. I want myself to be remembered for by my family. To my peers and friends, I don't really care. As long as I have one way or another have a positive impact. At least they have some sort of a good memory with me, whether it's just a good laugh over a good barbecue or a much more meaningful, work relationship. I think, that's all I can ask for, right? I don't want to. I can't be the best. I think. We ideally want to be likable, but I personally truly believe that you can only give so much to others once you have built enough of yourself. Does that make sense? So I'm constantly looking in ways on how I can be better, be a better person, and maybe hopefully ideally if in the process I can give more. Be of more value to those around me. That would be enough for me.
There's one side of Chee Rong that not many people get to see, is a good father and a good husband as well. Now, if you have an opportunity to leave some words of wisdom to Emma and Sophie, right? Like, what would you tell them in the capacity of a father?
Okay, to my daughters, right? I think. Oh, that's a very good question, Alan, because sometimes I ask myself, what kind of principles and values do I want to instill in my two daughters, right? I think the most important thing is that for them to, I want them to know that they can achieve really whatever that they want to in life. Do not ever feel fearful of something which that's going to bring good to the people, no matter how others may view it, no matter how much support you may not get, as long as you know that it's gonna do good, it's what you believe in, do not give up trying to achieve it, because eventually you're gonna achieve it.
And to the person who has supported you the most behind the scene, to your wife, Sheena, what will you tell her?
Come on, man. I thought there was only one question. This is so personal, later. One question become 4 questions.
I forgot there's like 1A, 1B, 1C. Like the insurance application form also 1A, 1B, 1C.
Of course, to my wife, I want to... maybe I've not shown it enough. Actually, my wife always complain. Hey, I don't talk a lot. I don't communicate enough. Sometimes we always have this miscommunication because I expect her to know, but girls being girls, they expected me to put it out in words. Which sometimes is why I always feel that this is an area which I still need to work on a lot, is to how to put the words, how to let the other party understand what I'm trying to say or what I'm feeling. So to my wife, Sheena, if case you feel that I don't say this enough, of course I love you and I'm always very grateful for what you have done, for what you have provided to me and the family, and being a great mother, being a supportive wife and partner that I can count on. So yeah, thank you, and I don't know if I'll ever repay you enough, but I'll never give up. I'll never stop trying. Wait, this is very personal.
Very good, very good side. Hey, this is something that we don't get to see often. That's the purpose of this.
Because it's not supposed to see.
Okay, now.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you to Chee Rong for taking his time for today's episode. And if all of us can learn something from him, it's definitely about being determined in what we believe in. I think we all can agree that Chee Rong is a very purpose-driven individual, someone who strives nothing short of excellence. When he set his mind onto something, he will make sure that he go all out and try to achieve it as much as possible. And I think his energy is very contagious, to a sense that people around him get uplifted to buy into his vision and also want to follow his footsteps as well. Now, he may not be able to express it as much. That's the reason why I keep drilling on this, because I also want to hear that from him, like how he feel about us as a team. And also, I have a lot of confidence in him because I met the family and they have very beautiful families. The wife, the children are amazing people as well. And I think it is also fair for him and fair for everyone to see a softer side of him. Because after all, we follow people, their lead. We trust them not only because of the results that they put in, also because of the person of who they are. So Chee Rong, because of that, I would like to say thank you on behalf of everyone who has gotten to know you, for being an amazing person, for being an amazing individual, and someone that we all can look up to. And hopefully, we can also live up to our own expectations, our own desire as well, our own dreams as well. And we wish you everything the best in terms of your agency and your team, and fulfilling whatever dreams that you have set forth.
Thank you, Alan.
Yeah, thank you. And before we end, who's have something?
Yes, I have a little question for you. How many followers do you have right now on IG?
Personal or agency?
Agency maybe.
2,400.
Okay, now you have 2 seconds to promote whatever you want.
Okay, so to everyone out there, if you are not familiar with insurance,